I know the game now. Is it not me? I'll pull out. Listen, once I just give you once it goes to that, once you just get to that point, I'll just pull it out. Then I'll spread everything on you. Calm down.
A Mother's Struggle is the movie I'm reviewing today, and this movie is produced by Nosa. Executive producer of this movie is Vivian Okorie, and the story is also written by Vivian Okorie. Now, the director of this movie is Barnabas Benjamin, so BB. So this movie, a recap of this movie is, the title even says it already. Young vibrant mother who is struggling between taking care of her young child and the husband, and also trying to maintain a lifestyle in regarding her finding a job or having her own career. So this movie is just centered around a young lady struggling between family and career. Basically, that's what this movie is about. What I like about this movie, I'll start with the story and the message. Guys, this movie is like dead gorgeous good because it's very relatable, and this movie is even talking about recent conversations that are going on regarding a married woman trying to have a career, and the husband also trying to tell her to take care of the family and take care of him. These are conversations that are going on in recent time, and women don't want to be housewives anymore. This movie talks about everything regarding that. This movie is actually very educative. It talks about family values. It talks about how pregnant women relate to their husband. This movie is so good. So message wise, everything and the story was done beautiful. Kudos to Vivian Okorie. I mean, I'm thinking maybe the movie, the way she wrote the story has to be personal to her, and that is how good she delivered this story, in my opinion. Then next thing that I love about this movie, let's talk about cast and performances, guys. Let's talk about Nosa first. Nosa is a very comic character. Even when he's serious, I'm laughing because he's a comedian to me in movies. If you are not familiar with him, he always talk about ducking and knocking. Like he's creating, or he has created a niche regarding knocking in movie roles, and he does it very well, surprisingly. Like he does it so well in a very comical way. So in this movie he did exact same thing, but in this movie it was more Christian like and more positive way in this movie, and that's what he did, and I actually enjoyed him. He's a very good husband in this movie, very supportive husband. He couldn't take it anymore, he wanted to run away, he was caught. Like I don't want to even give out this movie, guys. You go and watch it, you will enjoy it. Like, every scene of him was just comic and exciting and interesting in a positive way, because in other movies he does the same role but in a negative way, but here in a positive way. So that was a different twist to the role that he normally plays. So that was a good one. I enjoyed Nosa in this movie. Then we talk about the next character, that is Doris. Her role here was the woman who was struggling between family and obviously her career. She wants to improve on her career. That was really good. I enjoyed everything she did here in this movie. She doesn't normally act movie like this. Most of the time she's always acting supporting characters or the main characters that she acts. This was a different twist. Kudos to the casting director of this movie. That was a good one. This is a different face we are seeing. We are tired of seeing the same faces play lead roles and I actually enjoy her because it gives me a different feel of another character who can take on the lead role and do it very well. So I actually enjoyed her. It was taking in everything, all the pressure, how she delivered her emotions. She was crying, she was sad when she was happy. Like her emotions, especially the sad emotions, she did them very well for me. Like the tears were flowing, and I was really impressed with how she delivered her tears and her emotions. I was like, okay, she's good. I actually enjoyed her in this movie very, very much. And again, the way she took care of the baby in this movie, I was like, okay, is she a mother before? Like, she delivered the role as a good wife, supportive wife. Like, I enjoyed her in this movie. So kudos to Doris for this role she did. Last but not the least character that I actually enjoy is the Kingsley character. He was the good advisor, very supportive as well, very comical. He always enables the comic part of Nosa in the supports the fooling, but also gives you a good advice. Like, you are doing the bad things, like, okay, yeah, enough of the bad thing you are doing, now do this to help you succeed in whatever you want to do. Like, that was a very good role he did, and he was I like the way he was relaxed in his character. Like, actors are on the edge of, like, let me do this and get it going, or let me do this and get it moving. Kingsley, in his role as a supporting cast, he was relaxed. He was in his home and just doing his thing without cameras on him, basically. Like, and that was really beautiful. Another character I enjoyed so much. Cinematography of this movie. That is all I can say. The picture quality of this movie, the cinematography matched with what they were telling us in this movie. Last but not the least thing that I love about this movie is also the frame size, guys. The frame size was perfect. The 6.9 was used perfectly. Lest I forget, I also love the fact that this movie talks about the struggles that pregnant women go through, and also struggling to do with their career while still pregnant, and also trying to satisfy their husband while still pregnant, and also the symptoms of pregnancy, the sicknesses that pregnancy brings to you, and that affects your marriage and your husband. Like, this movie is very good. It teaches you and educates you at the same time, and also gives you comic relief thanks to Nosa in this movie. Guys, if you haven't watched this movie, go and watch. It's a very good watch. Now, what I don't like about this movie, guys, let me start with Queen's character. In this movie, she is actually like a supporting cast. She was a good friend to Doris in this movie, so she had a lot of roles to play in this movie. And the cast in this movie are not really much, so yeah. Queen's character, I was so disappointed in what she was doing because her character was not giving. The way she was delivering her lines, she was taking her time. Like, when she wants to advise, example, Doris, why don't you talk to your husband again? Don't you think if you sit down and talk to him, he will understand you? It's like she's afraid to deliver her lines, or she's scared to make mistake in delivery her script. She was calculating how she talk in her movie. In this movie, guys, I wasn't. No. This is how I feel, guys. This is what I do not like. Mind you, someone might like what she was doing in this movie, but no, that was not it for me. Queen's character was Talk about Nosa's mother's character. First off, she has a very good command of the English, which means she's really well spoken. In this movie, I don't know her personality, but her delivering of lines is just like Queen's own. But this time around in a very mature way, because she's mature. So yeah, she had only one scene in this movie, and her scene was not supposed to be boring. Her scene was the highlight of education topic in this movie. She passed a message across, but was her acting good? For me, no, that was not what an acting is supposed to be. Her presence was not felt for me in this movie or in that scene. So she was one character that I did not enjoy at all. Somebody who your son is maltreating the wife, and you are a good role model, and you are not, you are not deaf, you are not in the forefront doing what you're supposed to do. She was just talking like a madam, than a caring, soft mother to them. that was how she was. I mean, she gave a good advice, but she wasn't giving that aura of a good mother or a caring mother. She was a good mother, but not soft-spoken caring mother that you could feel, you know what I mean? So yeah, that is exactly how I felt her role, and that was not really interesting for me. Another thing that I didn't like about this movie was the fact that, you know, it has centered, or half the script of this movie was talking about church. They talk about pastor, deacon. They were actually, Nosa was actually a church leader, be something in this movie, and we saw no effort of church presentation in this movie. There was no location, there was no pastor, there was nothing like that. You know, they just limited everything to Nosa and family and friends and mother. Those are basically the cast of this movie, which is not a bad thing. But you guys know that, you know, I always talk about a little effort into movies. You know, don't be treating us like we are some dummies that you can just put anything out there and watch, which of course we watch. I'm doing review on it obviously, but make an effort. That is why I always give flowers to Bolaji and Bimbo all the time when they do the good deed. That they don't treat their viewers like nobody. They treat them as valuable customers or viewers that they need them all the time to watch their movies. And this is what I want YouTube producers to be doing. In this movie, there was no church, there was no pastor, there was no effort whatsoever were put into that thought process in presenting those characters. At least even if we had one scene from a pastor talking to the couple about how their marriage should work, that would have made a lot of sense, you know what I mean? But they didn't do that. All the advice and everything was coming from Queen and Kingsley, and I'm like, you guys know the way. Why don't you outsource to your elders in the church, because you have a role in the church and stuff like that? We didn't see anything like that at all. Like, you know, we didn't see that, and that was no effort was put into that part of the storyline, and that was disappointing for me, and that was one thing I did not like. Last but not the least thing that I did not like in this movie has to do with the baby, how they directed the movie in regarding the baby. There were so many scenes where sometimes the baby is asleep, and in that same scene the baby is awake. It's confusing. You have to put out a good product. Basically, that's what I'm saying. Or the baby cannot be crying in one scene, and in that same scene the baby is asleep. It doesn't make sense. Let's be consistent. If the baby is crying in that scene, let it be till then we move to the next scene where the baby is asleep. Those are basically what I feel this movie was lacking. I'll give this movie 6. Why? Because of the topic they chose for this movie. This movie is really educative in a very comical way. You actually enjoy. So yeah, I have to give this movie a 6. The topic conversation, a lot of topic conversation actually in this movie, so it's worth the 6 that I'm giving it, in my opinion. And I recommend A Mother's Struggle for you. If you haven't watched it, please do well to watch. Well, thank you guys so much for watching this movie review that I just did, and happy new month to you all. We are already in the festive season. We can feel the breeze, the harmattan, the winter and all of that. And if you're in Ghana, guys, the elections will be coming on. Be safe out there. Go vote, go home safely. If you want to wait around, make sure you don't cause a nuisance. We need peace in the world. War is not going to solve any of our problems in the world. Peace will definitely will. I hope that Ghanaians make the good choice that they want for the next 4 years. And thank you guys so much for supporting, and I'll see you all in my next movie review.